can't get through life with ignoring the negative, my opinion. Other people may teach different things, and you can go and listen to them and then listen to me and see which one you draw your own conclusions. But the negative in life is what we'll be focusing on in today's video. The diseases of life, referred to by Jim Rohn. And they're a lot like weeds in the garden, he explains. He says that, with weeds in a garden, they're there. You can either choose to face them and take care of them, or you can turn your head away and say, nope, they're not there. But they're still going to take your garden if you do nothing about them and leave them unattained. Now, like weeds, the negative in life is fairly weak. Right? It's weak, but it's persistent. And if you let it build up, it becomes overwhelming. It's important to keep it maintained, keep it up to date, keep your weeds at bay, so you don't wake up one morning, look out the window, and see your garden overwhelmed with weeds killing off your plants. All right. That's just a little simile or metaphor that I liked from his speech. Now, diseases of attitude. The first one, I have my notes here. Help me out so that way I can stay on task for you guys, all busy people. Indifference. It's the mild approach to life. Some would call it the drifty approach, right? You just kind of drift through. Well, this kind of person says, oh, well, I can't see all that. I can't see all getting that worked up about it. Alright? But to be any kind of winner, you got to get worked up about it. Right? You can't. There's a problem with drifty. You can't drift your way to the top of a mountain. The good Lord said in the closing chapters of the Bible, the best way to live is one way or the other. Right? So, hot or what's next best? Cold. Cold's next best to hot. Not like a lukewarm, half-baked middle. I take this as pick a direction and go. Right? Go with everything you have. Just pick up and go. And, I guess you could say, well, what if it's the wrong direction? You'll find out quicker. Right? It won't take you 25 years to wake up one day and realize I've been walking the wrong road. But learn to put everything you have in everything you do. Whatever it is, no matter what it is. There's a delusion that goes around that's, well, if I had a better job, then I'd really pour it on. That's a delusion. Pour it on no matter what you do. Everything you do. Know that you've done everything to the best of your ability. Even if you're working like a cashier job or you're like a cook in a pizza restaurant. Do it to the best of your ability. You'll have the confidence of knowing and being able to go to sleep that night knowing that you did your absolute best. And while it may not be working towards your absolute end goal, it still provides you with a level of confidence and security. Personal security. There's no such thing as job security or financial security or anything like that. There's only the security that you have in yourself. And that's the most important thing, and no person can take that away from you. So, if you want to develop that, pour it on no matter what you're doing. Alright? Now, the next disease of attitude is indecision. like a mental paralysis, right? Well, I know I'm on the fence, but what if I get off on the wrong side? Well, listen, after a while, it doesn't matter what side you get off. Any side will do. Just get the fuck off, right? A life full of adventure is a life full of many decisions, right? So don't spend your time seeing how many decisions you can get out of. See how many decisions you can get yourself into, right? Because that's where the adventure is. So there's a lot that I could say regarding all these diseases, and I do want to go more in depth, but the thing about holistic self-improvement is that everything ties in to everything, which is the whole meaning of holistic, right? You can go through any of my other videos and look at the things that I've talked about, and I guarantee you there are 101 ways you can apply it to what I'm talking about here. It's pretty incredible. It all ties in together, and once you realize that, you can really take your learning and everything to a whole new level, because you can be knowledgeable and still broken, like having a shitty life, right? The reason why a lot of people do good in life isn't because of how much knowledge they contain, but because of how they can relate that knowledge to what they already know and their pre-existing beliefs and their pre-existing knowledge, and how they can apply it. So application and relation have a major factor in that, not just knowledge. You don't have to be smart to be successful. Alright? Well, the next one for our diseases of attitude is doubt. Alright? So, there's many different forms of doubt. One of the worst is self-doubt. A guy who doubts himself will doubt if it'll last long for him, will doubt if he can do it that well, will doubt if he can make much money, will doubt if he can accomplish all that, and he'll doubt just about pretty much anything. He's a chronic, excellent self-doubter. I mean, you can imagine what damage that does to your future. Well, here's the key. Turn this coin over and become a believer. I know I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's simple. I'm saying it's worth it. Okay? The understanding of self-worth is the beginning of progress. I'm about to get run over, hold on. Okay. But yeah, doubt is a very difficult thing that a lot of you will face and probably likely are facing now. It's bound to come, but how you deal with it and the systems you have in place have a huge role. If you want to learn more about the systems and stuff that you can put in place to deal with all of these that I'll talk about here, plus some, it's pretty simple, all of this is pretty simple stuff, but it comes down to actually having the discipline and seeing the discipline to implement it, right? Now, that's something I want to touch on real quick. People that talk about needing discipline to do things, it's likely that they're suffering from a lack of motivation, right? What does the lack of motivation stem from? Likely the lack of value in what they're doing. How do you value what you're doing more? Increase your awareness about how it's going to help you. That's where knowledge comes in. That's where knowledge comes into play, right? So just keep that in mind. Let's continue on with worry, which is the next attitude of disease. Worry, it causes health problems, social problems, personal problems, family problems. it's quite devastating, really. If you worry long enough, it could drop you to your knees, reduce you to begging. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'll tell you what I finally did with worry. And it's helped my life tremendously. I gave it up. Who needs it? Now, again, it's not easy, but it's worth it. A lot like doubt. I'm still fighting worry, actually. It's been nearly 2 years since I've started my self-improvement journey. And doubt and worry all both frequently creep in on me. Right? Well, I don't know if it's worry exactly, but it's anxiety. So, anxiety can easily turn into worry. I know it's quite weird to tell the difference, but worry is when you're sitting there constantly. I guess it's like a form of exaggerated anxiety. All right? It's well past the point of time for you to keep thinking about that thing. So, get rid of worry. With a good conscious effort, you could probably get rid of it in about a year, maybe under that if you're really dedicated. It's hard to keep reminding yourself of the systems, but like I said, as long as you have the systems in play, because most people don't ever take the time to construct the systems that are going to help you. And if you don't even know what a system is, that's okay. Most people have no fucking clue where to start. In my description on YouTube, I have on the homepage, I have a link to my email. And if you're looking for any kind of life help or advice on how to be happier, like, because it's so hard nowadays. People and circumstance and everything just seems to get in your way. It has a link to my email. I want you to email me. I want you to tell me your life story. Get as personal as you want. We can set up a call. We can set up video chat or phone call. Whatever works best for you. And we'll get on and we'll have a long talk. Alright? I'm not going to waste your time any further. Back to worry. Life after worry won't be free of challenge or difficulty. Worry is just obsessively focusing on that challenge or difficulty or inability to accomplish something, right? So it's needlessly focusing on it. It'll bring you down. It'll bog you down. You'll focus on the minor things, leaving the majors unattended. That's no way to get things done. So like, a man would be worried about wasting time with whether he should get wheat or white bread. Yet he's worried over wasting time about, fucking up his diet or backtracking. He's been spending like half the day thinking about it and like watched 3 different YouTube videos and stressing over it. When in the meantime, that stress and increased cortisol and fucking hormonal shit, or sciencey stuff, is like triggering a stress response and, just a bunch of different shit that's causing him to retain the weight. And maybe that stress causes him to feel a little bit tired, so he doesn't go to the gym that day, and then that's gonna have more of an impact over what kind of bread he eats, right? If you want a full nutrition course, I have that as well. Again, go to my email, the link in my YouTube. Send me an email, and I'll send it over to you personally. There is no emailing list. I'm just personally sending you emails with the links attached. So if you're interested in like nutrition, fitness, anything like that, I'll have a full master course on it, and I'll send it to you for free. Alright, these loud ass cars. Alright, overcaution is the next attitude of disease. It's the the timid approach to life. Now, you can be overcautious, just like you can be, too reckless. But overcautious, the timid approach, is essentially saying, oh, well, what if this happens? It's the language of the poor, right? That's how you can think of it. What if this happens, and on top of it, what if this other thing happens, and oh, look at the fix I'd be in then, right? You can always count yourself out in some way. You give yourself five reasons not to do one thing. Sorry about that, I almost got attacked by a dog. Okay. So it's all risky. That's something that you'll need to realize in order to do well in life. If I were to summarize how the cure for this disease of overcaution, worrying about doing the wrong things, and what if this happens, oh, look at the risk in the situation, look at the fix I'd be in. It's all risky, right? The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think investing is risky, wait until they hand you the bill for not investing. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying, right? It's all risky. Getting married is risky, having children is risky, going into business is risky, and investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but you guys got to memorize, take this to heart. I'll tell you how risky life is, actually. You're not going to make it out alive. That's how risky life is. That's pretty risky. So, it's better to live 30 years in an adventure rather than 100 years sitting in a corner with a blanket over your head, fucking 3 meals a day, being protected, cared for, and etc., etc. It's not important how long you live, it's important how you live. So, if we all have roughly the same number of days, some of us get shorted, right? Because some of us do get shorted, some of us die early. But if we all roughly have the same lifespan, the only thing that separates us and that we can do to individualize ourselves is fill our life with quality. Like the quality of how we spend our lives, the quality of how we spend our time. That's the only thing that we can do to differentiate ourselves. Yeah. Next is pessimism. I got a little off track, but next is pessimism. It doesn't try to figure out what's right. It tries to figure out what's wrong. This guy doesn't look for virtues. He looks for faults. And when he does find them, he is delighted. This poor guy is the guy that looks through the window and doesn't see the sunset, but sees the specks on the window. Right? This poor bastard has no enjoyment of life. There's a guy that rushes up to take such leave of his sentences. This guy rushes up and says, "I've got 5 good reasons why it won't work." He's so dumb, he doesn't know all he needs is one. Alright? To him, the glass is half empty. To the optimist, the glass is half full. Why would the same measure affect people in such different ways? It all depends on how you look at things. Our lives are more affected by the way we think things are, not the way they actually are. Right? That's so powerful. It means you have the ability to shape your own reality, as cheesy as it sounds. So the way you think things are affects us most. For thinking habits, this is what keeps most people poor. Not poor working habits. Most people are hard workers, and I've delved into this a little bit with the video I did on the education system. If you want to learn more, check that out. But they don't think hard. They work hard, but they don't think hard. The mind is a mental factory, right? And whatever you think about all day pours ingredients into this mental factory. That's what builds the economic, social fabric the fabric of your life. As you think, and so shall you become. That was quoted from the Bible. How awesome is that? That's fucking incredible. It may sound cheesy, it may sound unbelievable, but it's true. I've found it to be true, and countless other successful people have found it to be true. Ask anyone, any successful person, and then ask the poor people, see what their views are, and then analyze where they're at in life. When someone says they want to be a leader, the first thing you got to do is follow them back to their house and check out their library. Not in a creepy way, but, get permission, of course. But what a man reads pours massive ingredients into his mental factory, right? And so what a man reads is the ingredients to his fabric of life. And you probably wouldn't believe what most people have in their house to read. One of the best dressed up words I know for it will be trash. So, can you imagine dumping a barrel of trash into your mental factory every day and coming out with a rich dynamic or a positive life? It can't be done, right? You might as well try to make a cake with cement. So, how do you build a good life? It's simple, not easy, but simple. Keep the right ingredients and get rid of the bad. It starts with thought, everything does. So you must be wise and careful about what you think, because that starts everything. Stand guard at the door of your mind. You decide what goes into your mental factory. Don't let anybody else just come along and dump anything they want to into your mental factory, because you've got to live with the consequences. It doesn't matter where you get the bad shit from, friend or foe, it'll still do damage. If your best friend drops fucking poison into your coffee, and your enemy drops sugar, it's going to taste better. Your enemy or your best friend drops poison, you're going to die. If your enemy drops poison, you're going to die. If your friend drops sugar, it's going to taste good. The point is that it doesn't matter where you get the poison from, you're going to die. So limit what goes in your mental factory. Guys, I know this video was a bit long-winded, but it's really important I'll recognize these diseases of attitude. And yeah, stay on task.